Hey everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I have taken out some time to record a whole bunch of videos that I've been meaning to do for ages. So in 2016 I started my own virtual assistant business. You can read more about what kind of virtual assistant work we do on our website, which is jessica.eden.com, and the link will be underneath in the description for the video. And I want to talk now about a day in the life of a virtual assistant. So I found that when I first started building up my business and getting clients and doing kind of different jobs for them, I got an awful lot of questions from day one about what it is that I do and how do I meet those people and how is it even possible to be doing work like that? Like there's got to be something kind of fishy about it. And now that I've quit my job and working in my business full time, the questions haven't stopped. If anything, the questions have multiplied because everyone wants to know, what is it that you do? How does this work? Etc. So I wanted to really share what a day in my life looks like as much as I can, although it is like different every single day. So yeah, there is no blanket answer to, a guaranteed day in Jess's life is going to involve doing this or it's going to look like that. So that's kind of the bit that I like about it. I like that it is quite different. It can be quite tiring as well, though, I'll be quite honest. So my day normally starts about 6 o'clock in the morning. My fiance still goes to work, so we're normally up fairly early. I like to be a bit lazy and lie in bed for a bit, and I like to check social media sort of early in the mornings. I have a lot of clients that are based in different time zones, so while I've actually been sleeping, they've been quite active on social media, so I like to sort of see what's been going on, reply to people and just build relationships. I think that's been really important to me. I've met so many amazing people since I've been doing this that I would have never on earth met otherwise. And I really like to keep in touch with them and know what they're doing, how their families are doing. There's a few that just had babies, and yeah, it's really nice to see. And I like to do that while I'm in bed in the mornings. I also kind of have a brief look over the emails at that time. So normally about 6:30 is the first time I sort of scroll through the inbox. I don't actually reply to any emails early in the morning, and maybe I can do a separate videos and talk about email. I have a pet hate for emails, so I can tell you why that is. But yeah, I kind of have a brief scan through because, like I say, we have international clients, and I don't know, sometimes things happen overnight when we're not available. So I check for any urgent messages that basically scream, help, I've got this massive emergency going on, please, I need someone as soon as you see this. If that happens, then I literally jump out of bed there and then and get my laptop and find out what's actually going on. Most mornings that's not the case though, so there will have been quite a lot of emails, between maybe 20 and 50 that came in just overnight to get back to, but I don't reply to them first thing in the morning. I don't actually even read them, I don't open them. So unless anything looks particularly like it's house on fire kind of stuff, I just tend to put it on my schedule for a bit later. Then I like to start the day with a coffee. I used to live on coffee. I think I used to have about 10 cups a day. We're now expecting our first baby, so I'm five months pregnant at the moment. And yeah, I've significantly cut down on coffee. But yeah, first cup in the morning, I just got to have it. While I have my coffee, I kind of get going. I start waking up. I kind of like to start the day fairly easy. So I normally do things quite early in the morning that don't take a lot of brain power, but they get me geared up for work. So I'm a morning person. I do like to work in the mornings. Now it's kind of like, right now it's nearly 11 o'clock, so this is my prime time for actually getting work done. So normally I would now dig my teeth into client work, and these videos would actually never happen. So today I forced myself not to do that and record these videos instead. So about 7 o'clock I start with something really easy for the day. So I normally do tasks that I enjoy doing. So if I need to create new images for social media, I'll go and do that really early in the morning. I do things like my Pinterest scheduling, topping up Board Booster. Then what I also like to do is, if I had messages from people that I've been speaking to, is get back to them. And then I will normally say bye to my fiance about 7:30. He normally goes to work about 7:30. And that's when I kind of get going with the first piece of work. So I try and do a bit of work as early as I can, and it's usually the thing that I really don't feel like doing. So, everybody has got a bunch of tasks that sometimes you put off and you don't know why. So I know some people like to, say eat the frog, do the thing that you least like to do first thing. If I try to do that, it would never happen. So sorry, it's getting really bright. Let me turn that down. So I kind of start with something that I really enjoy, that's easy, it doesn't take a lot of brain power, and then I move on to the big task for the day. So that's normally a big client project, something that urgently has to get done that day. That's the first thing I do, and I try and have that done before 8:30. So by now I've done some regular work for my business, and I've done the big kind of client thing I had on the menu for the day. And then I will actually go and have a shower and sort of get my mind into what else needs doing. I find that as a virtual assistant, we have a lot of tasks to do, and how can you say, sometimes they're all 5-minute tasks. So it could be that I complete, 20 jobs, 25 jobs in 1 hour. And that is actually very, very, very exhausting. So if a client sends multiple things, I try and batch them together and do it all in one go. So at least I don't have to, in my mind, change client, change branding. It can be quite exhausting to kind of go from, right, fix this for 5 minutes, fix this for 5 minutes, fix this for 5 minutes, and then move on to something else. So I would kind of make a start on any of those little things and spend like half an hour, 45 minutes to tackle this bunch of less than 10-minute jobs that tend to kind of come up. There could be things like somebody's cancelled their membership and they have to be removed from a Facebook group, or I have to go and download some stats or something that I do weekly. So those kind of things, I'll just get them done and try and get them off my plate as quickly as possible. Then after that, I tend to move on to the things that are going to take a little bit longer. So there's a few clients who I check emails for. So that's now the time where I will spend 20 minutes in each inbox, including my own, and kind of get back to the urgent things. And and then if I have bulk work to do, like if I need to create a sales page for somebody or set up a webinar and things like that, I kind of try and get that done before lunchtime. I find that particularly now being pregnant, I get hungry really early. So I used to have lunch about 12:30, 1 o'clock. Now 11:30, I got to eat something. So I try and have a quick snack and not go for full on lunch. I try to just have kind of snackish meals during the day rather than having one big meal. I get very tired after I eat. So if I have a lunchtime meal, a big one, a cooked meal, and then I will sit down somewhere, you will see I will just, slowly close my eyes. If I have a day like that, I've stopped beating myself up over it, because the reason why I chose to run my own business is so that when I am tired, I can go to bed and have a nap. And when I have a bad day and I wake up and I'm not in the mindset for working, I can do only the things that I really need to do that day, and then go out, go to the park, go and do the shopping for the week, do stuff that kind of take your mind off things, because at the end of the day, I didn't choose this life and running a business to be a slave to my business like I was a slave to my job. And I like to remind myself of that. So yeah, if I do have a really bad day and I'm tired, or I didn't sleep well because the baby's been bothering me, then I will just go and I'll go to bed and I'll sleep for an hour and a half, and then I'll come back to work later. And I end up then actually working later into the evening as well, just because I'm refreshed and my mind's working. So yeah, after lunch is not my best time of day. I don't try and do any challenging things. I might read a book. I do self-development at that time. So if there are articles I've been meaning to read, or courses I'm part of, or following up with mastermind group people, those kind of things, I will do them kind of between 12 and 2. Then 2 o'clock, I kind of start getting back into it. I have a lot of my client calls in the early afternoons, because I find I start feeling really energized. Talking to people is something I absolutely love doing. So I don't mind doing things like recording this video. I was thinking, like, for ages, I would love to do a podcast, but it's just an amount of work that right now, in addition to everything else, I feel like is not really appropriate. So that might be something I might try in a few months' time if I've got a little bit more space in my day. So I'll have the client calls in the afternoon. What do we talk about? It could be strategy sessions that were booked. So it's people that want to discuss their current email marketing setup, and it's that kind of not working for them. So we look at what have they got in place, what sort of products and services do they offer, how are they currently moving people from new, never heard about your business through to, dedicated client. So we will kind of do these things in the afternoons. I sometimes have discovery calls. So if there's people that are interested in working with us, then I'll have a call with them in the afternoons as well. It works quite well because, like I say, a lot of my clients are located in the US. So it's easier if I schedule calls in the afternoon because it just works better with the time zones. And then normally I will try and slow down with work about 5:30 in the evenings. So it is quite a long day considering I start with social media that is semi-business related at 6:30. And I don't really take a dedicated break. So I'm not a break person. Once I'm on break, I hardly come back off break mentally. So I tend to just keep my whole day sort of business related. And then I stop about 5:30 and I'll cook some dinner. My other half gets home probably about 6 or just after 6. So we all sit down together, chat about the day, eat. And then if I feel a good burst of energy, I often start work again about 8 o'clock at night and work until about 10. Although I do have to say in the evenings and at the weekends, I like to do stuff that relates to growing my business rather than client work unless it's really urgent. So I hear a lot about virtual assistants and how easy it is to be a virtual assistant. You just do a little bit of work, charge people loads of money, and you're free. Yeah, great. It can work like that. It can also be that you're quite popular, you end up having a lot of work, and it takes a lot of time to manage. So a large part of my day is actually project managing because, as you might know, I work with a team, so I have 3 other VAs working for me. So I don't do all of the work on my own, but that also means that I have a large number of client emails to reply to. I have tasks to allocate to people, deadlines to allocate. I have to send timesheets, invoices. So there's another side to running a business that's not to do with the actual VA work. So you've got to factor in that things like bookkeeping and your accounts have to be done, payments have to be done, the paperwork has to be filed properly. If you don't do that and then tax season comes around, you will be crying your eyes out. So I recommend from day one, keep your papers in order. I think it is a really interesting job and I love doing it, but I do feel like sometimes people are trying to paint the picture that it's a thing you can really easily do while you're traveling the world in a new location every day, every other day. Maybe you can do that if you have a couple of clients only and they pay you enough that you don't really, have too much work. I have clients from New Zealand through to the west coast of the US. If I was traveling on top of them being in all sorts of different time zones, I think I would miss deadlines, meetings and whatever, not daily and weekly, whatever, and I would get into a whole lot of trouble. So I take my role quite seriously. So I know that particularly during a launch, if there is something that I need to do by a certain time on a certain day, like for example, putting somebody's sales page up live, and I don't do that, it'll cost them thousands in possible revenue. So I feel like this is something that is taken quite lightly at times, and it's not a joke. You are there to assist somebody to run their business, and you take on a certain amount of responsibility onto yourself, and I think you have to treat it in the same way. So it's not a joke. It's fun, it's different. If you like a challenge, definitely something to consider. But yeah, if you think my day just involves sitting around doing nothing, then eek. I'm sorry to tell you that, but I do work pretty much from eyes open till eyes shut. So, yeah, that's all I can think of as far as my day goes. The only thing I'm really strict on is sleep. So I do say to my clients that I'm not available ever any which way between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. So I go to bed at 10 o'clock every night. With baby, sometimes you do fall asleep a little bit earlier. There's a good chance that everything will change in the summer, that I'll be working different hours and whatever not. I don't know what happens when baby's here. But that would be another kind of interesting new challenge and how that's going to pan out. But so far, the one thing I haven't been moving on is the fact that after 10 o'clock, I am not contactable by anyone. Right, so I really enjoyed telling you about my day. I hope you kind of found it useful. If you would like to talk more about this, and if you've got questions on being a VA and the kind of things that you could be offering as services and stuff like that, then you feel free to stop by on my new Facebook group. I've literally just started that up, and I'm just trying to get some people into it. So that's called the Freedom VA, and I'm going to put the link below. If you have been reading about becoming a VA, and if you've been feeling like you are really, 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 really frustrated in your job, and you have all these skills that you're not using, that from what I've told you already, in a role like this, you could use them really, really well, then I do have a VA mentoring program. So I'm currently looking for 2 beta testers to try out the coaching program. So it's going to be a 3-month process where we're going to be meeting quite regularly, and I'm going to help you to get your business up and running. So if that's something you're interested in, then you can go to my website, jessicadoneden.com/VA-mentoring, and the link is also going to be below the video. And I would love to talk to you about, your ideas and whether this is possibly the right step for you. And then I will see you around in one of my next videos. Bye.